遠く離れたって決して夢は終わらない
What's good, guys? Welcome back to Heal on 6, back again with another 5-round tournament recap. Today we have our next best deck profile for a 5-round tournament. Today we have back again David Song.
Hey guys.
What's good? Today he's back again. He won with Flagburg before, but now today he's here with Maelstrom. Now tell us, what about this deck? Why did you end up switching?
You know, I love Aqua Force so much, because this deck is really just Aqua Force's truest nature, I had to play it, you know. We see, I got high rarities though.
Yes, yes.
Just for my boy Ray right here, you know, I got this card, you know.
You get the DSRs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, I gotta differentiate though, you know. So the FFRs in the right line and these are in the main deck. Okay.
Yes.
So let's go on to like my deck list. So of course I'm playing the Persona Rides. Of course, went over the inlets already. These are the most important cards in the deck. You see them, you can bring them back. You can fetch them off of Algos' skill. This card's really good in premium as well. And you know, he's just kind of the Stoichea staple, right? Get him if you could. Two of the orders, because this order is not very good. But the most important thing is you want to hit it off of Theo, because you don't want to go minus.
Right.
So most of the time, he allows you to call any grade 2 you want. It doesn't matter what you call. Like, these are most important pieces, but you can still call them because you can just bring it back. So that's another thing. You can also ditch your inlet and you'll be able to get it back regardless. You can also bring back your wheel salts too. We'll get to that later. When I play it, it allows me to revive a tier dragon or Aqua Force unit. So let's just list the tier dragons. It's 4 inlet, the tie lines, which we'll get to in a bit, the titles, the entire ride line, which is also important. Like, there's a different priority for which we soul blast. The wheel salt, and of course Maelstrom himself, you know, like, you can base it on everything. And if there's another copy, you get +5 to anything for each copy, each other copy, so it's not that great. But that 5k actually came up a couple of times today, so you know, it's there. One grail. If this deck doesn't Persona Ride, it is very weak. But if it Persona Rides, it has some of the strongest turns in Overdress. So you have to play the extra Persona Ride copy. That's mandatory. So grade 2s, you know, 4 titles. If people played in the ride deck, you can make the title attack 3 times if it's in the ride deck. The problem is you lose the massive consistency boost with Algos. So I'd rather just play the titles as the rear guard and call out the inlets instead of the title. You know, I'd rather separate the powers to, you know, different lanes. You know, it's just a lot better that way. But you know, you could try it out. It's worth trying. The next most important card is Tie Line, the new card from set 9. This card is bonkers because for just a Soul Blast, you can give 2 units +10, well, plus himself. So you give +10 to the re-scanner, you're basically forcing out 30k extra guard. There's something you can do. You can play it, you use its skill, and then you can call over it. You can use this to bring it back, and you can give it to another unit. So that's how you get 20k distribution to your front row. This card's really good. The only reason he's not a higher number is because you need Persona Ride. So that's why. I play Locus.
Yes, just like last time.
Yeah, Locus is, honestly, it's an Aqua Force card. It helps the deck so much. You need to like hit them. If you don't, you can't really win. So it helps you push harder. He's basically Tie Line but earlier, just not as strong.
Right.
But you know, he's there. Alenia's. This card's broken. Grade 2. You can smack people really hard. You can call out. My favorite thing to call out is Theo.
Right.
Because on Maelstrom turn, he's a 13. You know, he's really, really good.
Right.
And you know, if you're going first, there's a 13, then you drop a 10. People don't like dropping 10s in Overdress.
Right.
So there's that. You can also bring back Tie Line. You can bring back Title. Remember, she also gives +5, so that +5 can actually really matter.
Right.
And she's just like one of the best cards in Stoichea. If actually she's gonna reprint it. Algos, this card is so broken. It's give a clan like Aqua Force any consistency boost, and that deck will be broken. You know, this is it. This card fixes everything. Second skill's not even important, it's the first skill. I did whiff it though in one of my games. You guys can check it out. I actually did whiff the skill. But yeah, it's really good. This is Constant Strike Brave Shooter. The reason why I play her is because she gives +5 to the first battle. So when I call out inlet on Persona turn is going to be 23, but with her, it goes to 28, which hits magic numbers. It's a one-up because it's not that important, but it comes up. So it's a one-up, you know? And in early game, like, you can rush with the grade 1 and it's still useful because you can attack with it on turn 2 and it will still be 13 because of this. Remember, it's not restricted to grade, so it's really good. You know, 4 PGs, that's really self-explanatory. Elementaria because Garricon goes around, you know, it's free, it helps. 4 Wheel Assault, I would say this is the best attack extender in the deck because it doesn't cost a counterblast. Soul is so negligible in this deck because of Inlet Pulse, and this allows you to fix your columns, it allows you to hide units. You can basically swap a Tidal Assault away and they can no longer attack it. So it's good on defense, it's good on offense. If you're against this deck, you always want to get rid of this if you can. Really good card. Searchable, revivable with the order. It's just an amazing card. I'm so glad that he came back, even though he's not as good as before. Theo's actually really good because not only does he filter 1 out of the deck, although it's not really a good card, he's a 13 on his own. So the best thing to do when you go second is to call Theo out. Not Algos, it's to call Theo because Theo's a 13. So he's asking for 2 5s by himself. And if you have her, then she's asking for 2 10s, which is pretty much just a no-guard for the opponent. It's really good. If you call him out early with Alenia, then that's a 13k forever. You only need 1 though. I've seen people play more, but you only need 1. Let's go to triggers. 4 plane triggers. I tried the crit triggers. I tried the crit 2 triggers. I tried the restand triggers. You just need the consistent 15k shield. You always want to be able to damage control in the early game. Being able to 1-card guard attacks is amazing.
How do you feel about the new grade under heals?
I think they're okay. It really depends on the situation. If there's grade 4 decks around or if there's any stride decks, it's really good. But I just think you need that universal versatility with these heals. Until they make better heals, I think it's just best to stay with this. Unless one deck is winning everything, then you can play new heals, but I still wouldn't do it. So my trigger lineup, play 8 crits. So in this deck, you should be playing the Tear Dragon crits. I, for one, don't have them yet, but I will be getting them soon because they're actually a target for Algos' skill. So you can't whiff. It's really hard to whiff.
Oh, so you're actually lacking that card.
Right. Getting 5k actually matters. But you know, if you don't have it, then just play any triggers. The 4 Soul crits, they matter. They matter because we have a battle phase Soul Blast Wheel Assault. So when you do need the emergency, it matters. The powers matter. It's the emergency Soul Charge. Play three draws. You can really play fronts in this deck. And another thing about Flagburg is like you can always have a front row standing just because you want to attack Van on 4th. Flagburg wants to attack Van on 5th, which is fine, but draws are better now because the early game is more important than ever. You know, you really need it. The fronts come too late. And the Stoike Overtrigger because it is every trigger on offense and defense. It's a heal on defense, it's a heal on offense, it's a draw on defense, a draw on offense. It's just everything. Right. And the Krellman's trigger, it's okay, but I'd rather have 9 crits in the deck. Right. Okay, so the biggest difference, you know, people always ask, like, what's the difference between Flagburg and Maelstrom? To be honest, they kind of play the exact same, which I don't like. I wish it was different, but the biggest difference is the fact that Flagburg has a lot higher ceiling, but the consistency goes lower because you definitely run out of pieces in Flagburg. The thing with Maelstrom is you almost never run out of pieces. All you need to see is 1 inlet, and you can keep reaccessing it every single turn. It doesn't matter. That's why, you know, you have to maximize the 4 inlets. That's mandatory, which is it's kind of a shame, but you know, it got reprinted. It's okay. Other thing is, it also has access to Wheel Assault. So this is like the pretty much Aqua Force's most famous skill, being able to position swap. Flagburg cannot precision swap, so you can't take advantage of the Persona I power. So everything you can use here, you can get Persona I power to. So your columns are never fixed.
Yeah.
For Flagburg, you always need an inlet, and you need an Eric's. That's it.
Yeah.
And Shelling Cannon Dragon in the back. That's like you're fixed.
Yeah.
But it does have a higher ceiling. I will give it that. But here, with tie lines, introduction, now you can play with tie line. You know, you can also use tie line as an attacker. Flagburg cannot use tie line as an attacker fully unless you're giving up an attack.
Right. looking after these new reveals that just dropped, how do you feel about the new over triggers that are going to come in Festival Collection?
So I really think the crit over trigger will only be used by a handful of nations because the Sway K one already is a crit. Although it does have application because it does recur you a piece, I do think the other over trigger is better because it just gives you an extra attack, right?
Extra attack.
And sometimes it gives you 2 extra attacks. So if you call a unit and that unit can call another unit, you're effectively getting 2 attacks.
Right.
But it's situational. It's more situational. But I think it's good. I think it's good that they're branching out. It gives me hope.
After today, given the upcoming events we have, so we have the upcoming NYCS spree, that we're gonna start the regional qualifier soon, and also the regional qualifiers. Do you plan on continuing playing this deck, or do you plan on playing anything else in the future?
I will most likely be playing this deck, 1 because of budget issues, and 2 because I've always been playing Aqua Force. Unless Aqua Force is the absolute worst deck, and I'm playing Team League, I don't want to disappoint my team, I will play a different deck. Otherwise, I will play the best I can with what I have in my deck. So that's why I always try to make my deck work.
And going into set 10, how do you feel about this deck's matchups?
The thing about set 10 is there's a lot of different dynamics you have to follow. Like, because the mass exists, it's going second is actually not too bad, especially with this deck because you can get 6 attacks immediately. I do think that set 10 might be the best set in Overdress overall, just because it brings such a new dynamic to the game. I think it's very healthy that Bushiroad's going for this type of support. But at the same time, you know, I'll be ready for it. I'll probably be playing the decks too, so, you know, I'm kind of excited.
Well, thank you again, David, for a perfect performance. Once again, you guys showed us again that not just every meta deck is just the top deck. You gotta look out at every single matchup. And today, you showed up today with Maelstrom. And yeah, well, that's about it. And what channel are you on?
Heal on 6.
Heal on 6. All right. See you.